Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Rabbi irzuqni ilma. Allahumma arinal haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'a wa arinal batila batilan warzuqna ijtinaba. Wa tawakkal ala wa kafa billahi wakila. I was at a mehfil yesterday and we were doing Jamaat, and the person who was leading the Jamaat, he recited this ayah from Quran. It's not the first time I'd heard the ayah. And उससे पहले पूरी एक महफिल हुई थी जिसमें there was zikr of La ilaha illallah and the zikr of Durood and this beautiful narration on our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as we enter into Rabiul Awwal. And it was in the evening. I had been working the whole day. My kids were at home, so I had to arrange for my kids to be, sorted out as I'm doing zikr. So there's a sense of tiredness. I'm going to be speaking in present tense because it's real. There's a sense of tiredness that I was carrying in my heart as I was standing for Jamaat and Isha yesterday. And I feel most of us feel this sense of tiredness in our lives. We don't perhaps acknowledge it to ourselves mostly because we have to do things. We have to take care of people. We have to take care of our life. We have to, just get with it and get on with it. So yes, we allocate small pockets for recharge, but then we get on with it. But this tiredness is a constant companion for most of us. This tiredness of the heart. I remember I was reading this hadith one day, which was about Hazrat Khadija, as she would go up to Ghar Hira for our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Khadija radhiyallahu anha. And, she used to get tired, physically tired. There was so much to be taken care of. She had households and children, business and a husband, life and her own heart. And I remember in the hadith, of course, I'm going to be paraphrasing it. It's like, when you get to Jannat, you're not going to be tired. You're not going to be feeling this heaviness that you're carrying within yourself. You'll be able to rest. You'll be able to rest. And it's natural for us to seek that place of rest in our now lives. That's human. But then we connect with the Quran and we understand that this is not a place of rest. And yet we're seeking for it. But there is a place of rest Allah Ta'ala speaks of. So back to that Jamaat that I'm standing in. The ayah that he recites, the Imam recites, is from Surah Fajr. And this is ayah 28 to 30. Ayah 27 to 30, which is Ya ayyuhan nafsu mutmainna arjil ila rabbika raziyata marziya. Allah will say to the righteous, O tranquil soul, nafsul mutmainna, return to your Lord, well pleased with him and well pleasing to him. And I just broke down. I was just, there was this entire river of tears that began to come out because it just felt like I tuned into the frequency of rest and of fully being supported and fully being taken care of and fully being, when you come home from a long journey. And in that moment, when you enter the house, there's the familiar smells and the familiar warmth, and a hot meal is ready for you. And, perhaps your mother is saying, how was, come, don't tell me, forget about the journey, don't tell me about the journey, just rest for a while, just rest, take a breath, you take your shoes off, you sit down. This is the entire moment in these three ayah that one can tune into. The first one being your, O soul at rest, nafsul matmaina, O soul at rest. Enter into my paradise, well pleased with your Rabb and well pleasing to him. Both. Look at this relationship. Well pleased with your Rabb and well pleased to him, well pleasing to him. तो ये सिर्फ नहीं है कि हमें चूज किया गया. ये सिर्फ नहीं है कि, because Malik is such an all powerful, all encompassing energy. We don't have to like him. He has to like us. That's what we've been taught. we are our likes and dislikes are negotiable. Him liking us is important, but ये तो नहीं कह रहे हम. He's acknowledging, he's honoring, he's honoring, for a beautiful honor, he's honoring the relationship that we have developed with him in our now life, in our human life. Well pleased with your Rabb. Subhanallah, he wants me to be pleased with him and well pleasing to your Rabb, both. This beautiful exchange is what he's honoring in that moment when we enter into his home. ये भी नहीं कि हमारा कोई right है, हमारी कोई ownership है उस जन्नत के ऊपर. हालांकि हमें बताया गया है कि you have to work hard, you have to prove yourself to him. You have to make sure that you feel that you have done enough so that you're worthy of having earned his love. You have to earn his love. इसमें तो ऐसा नहीं कह रहे हम. Subhanallah. He's not saying, I'm happy with you. He's saying, you're happy with me. And I am happy with you. So that means it's like an old couple sitting at the end of their life, exchanging what they've given and taken from each other, and how it's been a partnership. And how important it is, how absolutely important it is for our Creator that we are also pleased with him. How he's not looking at us as this infinite morsel, like this minuscule morsel of dust hurtling through space. No. He's honoring us. Oh, my Khalifa, are you pleased with me? Who asks that? Which kind of Rabb asks that? Not the one I've had any conversation with or have been asked to have conversations with for the most part of my life. But then there came a point in time when I did begin to speak to Allah, not as Allah, not as the Malik of all universes, not as the one filled with grandeur and Subhan, and not one of those grandeur, magnificent names, but Mera Rabb, Mera. Absolute ownership of, I have a right, and I will not be granted by that right by a Maulvi or by a masjid or by any rule. I have an innate right. I have an innate claim. Not, you see, you feel into the depth. I have an innate claim over my Rabb. I claim him as mine. Much before he claims me as his. And of course, when I say much before, it's happened in the same moment. I cannot want to claim him unless he also wants to claim me. Remember what we had spoken of in the last session? Which was when he's speaking to Hazrat Musa, I chose you for me. So in him having chosen me, I choose him too. And it's my choice of him that is most honored by him. And that is most honored by him, deeply so. But the fact that I have a claim over my Rabb, I have a right to ask him. I have a right to be upset with him. I have a right to question his judgment. I have a right to defy him when I feel absolutely human in my humanness and I'm real about it. It's like, मुझे नहीं पसंद जो आप मेरी जिंदगी में कर रहे हो. I do not agree with what you're doing with me. So the fact that I have a claim over my Rabb, this ownership that we have been asked to release from ourselves, is the ownership over our own Rabb that we're asked to claim. The distance that we've been asked to keep from him, वो एक altar के ऊपर हैं, वो एक मिंबर पे खड़े हुए हैं, वो मुझसे दूर हैं. It is that distance that we're being asked to rebel against. Reclaim your ownership on your own Allah. Reclaim your ownership. And the bebaki that comes with it, the sense of bebaki that it comes with it. But subhanallah, the rebellion that comes with it, he doesn't belong in masjids and in his book, or on in the words of somebody who has knowledge about his history and his books, or who can invoke him beautifully. No, he is, I place my claim over him, over my Rabb, the one who is intimately aware, subhanallah, the one who is intimately aware of every rebellion of my heart, whether I speak of it or not. चाहे मैं इस तरह बात करूं in this session or I don't, what does it matter? He knows. So is this bebaki of me to say that I claim my right over my Rabb, who does not belong anywhere but to me and in my heart? I know, I already feel that way. To be able to speak it is me declaring my ownership of my Rabb. I am his slave, that is his right, but I have a right upon him. And it is that right that he is asking us to claim in this beautiful ayah. It's like, well pleased with your Rabb, subhanallah. Because as I begin to claim my ownership of my Rabb, what am I seeking? I'm saying, okay, Allah Ta'ala, I want us to establish a relationship that's unique to us. I want to be able to talk to you like I talk to my friend, like I talk to my closest friend. I want to be able to scream with you and to be able to bring my pain to you and my shame to you. I want you to be able to see the darkest thoughts. And I know that you already see my darkest thoughts, but here I do. I like, hota na ki your friend, even when you have a very beautiful close friend, sometimes they know instinctively, intuitively, because they've known you for so long. They know some things about us, but we never speak of those things because it may harm, it may, it's just too shameful for you, or maybe it just carries too much judgment, too much darkness, too much heaviness for you. So you may not put it into words. But what a rebellion and what an honor relationship that is when you speak your darkness into words. You say, this is what I'm feeling. These are my desires. These are my darkest fears. These are my dungeons that I live in. And you bring those dungeons up from the depth of you and you place it in front of your Rabb. And you say, I know that you're already seeing them. You were there with me in those dungeons. You were already there, but now I dare to speak them out to you. Will you still stay with me as I put words to my darknesses? Will you still stay with me as I begin to embody the shame that I have in this moment? Will you still stay with me, or would you also reject me and leave and judge me and leave? What is this relationship that I have with you? Will you stay? Are you my Malik before you are my Rabb? And Rabb is such an intimate term, subhanallah. Maliha, this is Surah Fajr. This is ayah 27 till 29, which is Ya ayyuhan nasul mutmainna arji ila rabbika raziyatan marziya. Allah will say to the righteous, O tranquil soul, return to your Lord, well pleased with him and well pleasing to him. Subhanallah. और उन्होंने हमें अपने आप से पहले रखा है, क्योंकि this is not an epiphany that's happening at the time of our mulaqat with our Rabb. It is in honor of the relationship that we have built and we are asked to build in this lifetime. और ऊपर से है भी subhanallah के surah में, surah Fajr, the root word of Fajr. Do we remember the root word of Fajr? It means something that emerges out of something else entirely. It's a birth. And in the context of dawn, it means light emerging out of darkness. कि कहाँ थे और कहाँ खड़े हैं. Like from the vibration of this dunya, from the world of duality, here we are one. Here we are in union. Here we are standing with you in your Jannat. From feeling the perception of separation from you, here we are one, where you are speaking subhanallah. This is Allah saying to us, a direct conversation in Jannat. Enter, O soul at rest, nafsul mutmain. Enter, come. You are well pleased with me. I am, and you're very pleasing to me. Subhanallah. That love story that's being played out in that moment. Jahan pe our Allah is honoring his beloved, which is us. Which is us. अपने आप से पहले हमें रख रहे हैं. You were pleased with me. तो ये epiphany तो नहीं हुई है. That means that there were moments that he was gathering throughout the lifetime, where he was proving himself to us, for us to be well pleased with him in that moment. He was earning, हमें सिखाया गया है, we have to earn his love. वो कह रहे मैं earn कर रहा हूं आपका love. मैं आपको बता रहा हूं कि मैं कौन हूं आपके लिए. मैं आपका बता रहा हूं, I'm the one who will not leave. Bring me your deepest shame. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. He is challenging us in this lifetime. कौन सी वो shame होगी that I don't have space for? या गफ्फार या गफूर, वो कौन सी shame है that I don't have the space for? वो कौन सा depth है that I have not already created place for in my heart? वो कौन सा dungeon है जो आप मेरे पास लेके आ रहे हो, जिसके लिए मैंने पहले से उस जगह नहीं बनाई. I am prepared for you. Come. It is this constant nature of our Rabb that we are asked to tune into in every moment of our life by establishing in the first moment, us talking to him, by establishing a human connection with him. And I want to say a human connection because God is distant, but my Rabb, Allah, may be distant, but my Rabb is here, right here, sitting in front of me. My closest friend is my Rabb. And how are we asked to establish this connection is like, call out to me, speak to me, call out. Dua, what is dua? Dua is not asking him for something. Dua is a conversation. Dua is a connection establishing. Dua is picking up your phone and calling Allah in every moment. I am tired, help me. And in the morning, just this morning, because we get out of this habit, right? We get into the habit of calling people and we get out of the habit of calling Allah as our first emergency response. Whether it's an emergency or not, but it feels heavy. So in this morning, as I was scattered. मुझे लग रहा था कि मैं एक दरख्त हूँ और मेरी सारी चिड़ियां जो हैं वो हर तरफ फैली हुई हैं. Like, I don't know where my sparrows are right now. They're like everywhere. They're everywhere. And it's like, Allah, Allah, I do not know how to even, what is that song that will call all my birds back home to me? But birds being my thoughts everywhere. Because for a moment, I tuned into my own mind and I'm like, wow, I'm like jumping from this thought to that thought to this thought to that thought to that thought. Nothing to do with my present life, everything to do with my present. What is happening is like, Allah, Allah, what is that song? Teach me that song that calls all my birds back home to me. And I don't know what that song is. And simple, Ya Mujeeb. Ya Mujeeb. He said to me, say Ya Mujeeb. Recite Ya Mujeeb for me. Where did this come from? It's not like I have a ready, I didn't Google it. He gives in the absolute moment that you ask, he gives. Whatever you ask for, he gives in that moment and we receive it in that moment. And Ya Mujeeb is the one who answers and responds. Forget answers. Forget, oh, does he do this for me? Will he bring it to me? Will he fulfill my desire? Ya Mujeeb, yes. That immediate, a friend that you text and who will not wait the whole day, immediately, yes. What can I do for you? Subhanallah. This is the Rabb, and he says, are you pleased with me? When he says in that ayah, because you must have been pleased with me if you're here. So the moment we call us like, Ya Mujeeb, yes. He responds to requests of those who ask and to the call of those who call upon him by helping them according to his wisdom in dealing with their affairs. He will often give you more than what you ask for because he will respond to you with what you need. With what you need. Ya Mujeeb. And so, and we say that, right? We think of Ya Mujeeb as I've made a prayer. I've established a connection with him. Mostly our desire to talk to him comes from a place of need because we want something. And we know, and mostly those are impossible situations within our own selves, even if they're not outside circumstances, impossible darknesses or shadows that we carry, the fact that we don't think we can do this, we're not worthy. Abhi I've reached a certain point in my life, I may not be able to begin again. So those impossible moments that we find ourselves in, and that's when we call to Allah and we say, okay, Allah Ta'ala help us, those impossible moments, because we believe he will give to us what we otherwise do not have the resources to have. That's one aspect of him. Subhanallah, that's one aspect of him. But do you really need what you're asking for? Because in the moment, that here's the difference. When we call a friend, like a real friend, like a soul friend, they will not tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you what you need to hear after holding some space for you to be able to vent or to be able to just share your darknesses and your sadness and your grief. But then they will tell you what you need to hear, because they will remind you that your wants are always plants that grow from wounded grounds, and they're illusions. Our wants and our desires are illusions. But here's what you need for your ground to heal. But mostly, we don't understand that about real true friends, because very few have had, subhanallah, have been given the opportunity to experience that friendship. We don't know what that feels like when our friend gives us what we need and not what we want. Allah is that friend. He will give you what you need. But because we are mostly wounded and asking Him from a place of impossibility and need anyway, need as in from our desire, when we don't get what we want, we reject His friendship. And we say we did not get what we want. We instead got something else, or it didn't get fixed, but this happened instead. But I didn't get what I want. That's not his friendship. He is a like, that's why it's so beautiful to be able to understand Allah in all his facets. He is Ya Aziz, Ya Hakim. He knows कौन सी जगह पे हमारा पेग बांधना है. He knows how to anchor us down. He knows कि हम लोग कहाँ पे उड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और वहां की wind बहुत strong है. He knows then जिस जगह पे हम ना टेंट लगाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं वो ग्राउंड स्टेबल नहीं है. So he will make us walk a little further down and he will peg us. Hakim, जो आपकी, who keeps you placed and stable in one place. Hakama. So he will make us travel जहां पे हमारा वो पेग लग सके, ताकि हम लोग गुमे नहीं. You use that to tie a camel so they don't wander into the desert and get lost. Hakim. So he will take us a little away from what we desire. And he will peg us down. Why? Because we called Ya Mujeeb and he said, yes, on it, right now, on it. And Ya Mujeeb is, there's another surah that I've been asked to recite on a daily basis, which is, of course, Surah Mulk. And it's a beautiful surah. And again, yesterday, because there was a sense of heaviness that I was feeling, and then, the Imam recited that ayah of Nafsul Mutmain, and I was again brought to connect back to Allah Ta'ala in a more human way, not from Allah who's different, who's distant from me, in a more human way. This is what I'm feeling. I'm like a tree whose birds are all everywhere. Bring those birds back to me. Give me the magic word. Give me that bansuri that brings that back. And he says, okay, yeah, Mujeeb. And in the same moment, although the same, and that's why, subhanAllah, Quran, the Sufis say that. And because Quran is a living conversation till the end, relevant till the end of time, it makes sense that within the confines of this book, within the hadood of these words which have been strung together, there are 70,000 depths within each word of Quran, 70,000 depths. And therefore, even if you live to be the longest life that you would still not be able to explore all its depths, although it is, subhanAllah, the same Quran in Lohe Mahfuz, the same one till the end of time. And so it's the same surah I've been reciting every night. And my awareness by Allah Ta'ala, because I've established, I'm against like, okay, come back now, let's have this conversation again. And the first ayah, Tabarakalladzi biyadihul mulku wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Shuru ही वहां से हो रहा है. Blessed is the one. Blessed is the one in whose hands rest all authority, and he is most capable of everything. Shay'in qadir, a very deficient translation, but suffice. It does suffice, because वो मुबारक है, वो फ्रेंड जिसके साथ मैं इस वक्त अपना कनेक्शन एस्टैब्लिश कर रही हूँ. और वो मुबारक इसलिए है because he wants to be my friend. Before I wanted to be his, he chose me. But now he would really like for me to choose him. And me choosing him really matters to him, really matters to him, because he has angels worshiping him every microsecond of time that we cannot fathom. He already has that. He has an entire universe in him. He doesn't need to be worshipped. He doesn't need to be worshipped. Subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. It's a friend that he's seeking. It's his beloved that he deeply cares for. And we are the ummah of his beloved. Subhanallah. And it's our friendship that he's honoring in that moment where he says in Surah Fajr, well pleasing. Are you well pleased with me? And this one-way conversation, abhi unhone jawab nahi diya. Forget about the fact that he's responded to us or not responded to us, how he's not given us what we wanted, but instead has given us what we needed. Forget his response right now. Right now, it's all about Ya Mujeeb. But in this moment of us establishing that, in every moment, and mostly when we find ourselves in these times where there's so much chaos around us, ourselves in this world, and also within us, and also in our lives and everything, our relationships are shifting so rapidly, whether those are friendships or our household relationships, just everything is shifting so rapidly. The thing that we are most in need of is an anchor, which will keep us stable and rooted in this madness right now. Just we're looking for that anchor because it is a wobbly time to be in. And our first moment of connection with our friend, where our hearts feel wobbly. And maybe, I don't know if you guys have noticed it within, if you've noticed it within yourself, there's a sense of like, I've had to reach for my breath. It's mostly I'm breathing shallow. ऐसे करके मेरी, and I'm not even aware of it, and I'm not used to breathing shallow anymore, but it's just so much happening that I find myself reaching for my breath. Like when I say that my birds are away from my tree, everything is away from my tree. Like my breath is away from me. I have to call it back home. I have to call it back home. Everything I'm being asked to, and I was sharing with my friend yesterday, I was like, ऐसे जैसे वो जो पर हमने फैलाए हुए हैं, when we find ourselves to be shifting very rapidly in these timelines, we are manifesting a lot of things. There are a lot of things which are coming up, things that we've been working on for a long time, and suddenly they're coming into being. So duality is being made manifest in a very hyper, in a very hyper way. Like बहुत जल्दी manifestations भी हो रही हैं power desires, and बहुत जल्दी darknesses भी आ रही हैं. Extreme beauty and extreme judgment, extreme shame and extreme balance, like extreme love and extreme hatred. बहुत extremities हैं इस moment में. तो इस moment में एकदम से हम लोग, so this unanchoredness that we feel, because a lot of things are happening at the same time simultaneously, and we're being asked to anchor ourselves in this, calling out to Allah, calling our birds back home, Ya Mujeeb, is the first moment of connection that we have with Allah. It's like, okay, I need a friend. I don't need my Allah to tell me things of what I should do right now. I just need my friend right now. I need a friend. And a friend who is not just going to hold space for me. I want my friend to tell me what to do from this point onwards. I want my friend to look at me uniquely, my Rab, not anybody else's. I don't even want a tree's Rab right now. I don't want a bird's Rab right now. वो उनके अपने रब मुझे नहीं मालूम, मुझे अपना रब इस वक्त चाहिए. Who is going to uniquely custom attention, hyper focus listen to. वो जो नहीं होता, वो friends होते हैं जो आप इनको कॉल करो और वो सो भी जाए तो फोन ऑन रहता है. मुझे वो वाला फ्रेंड चाहिए इन टाइम्स में. You keep yourself on the call for me. You keep yourself on the call for me. And subhanallah, the vulnerability, because right now it's not a challenging time for us. Like for most of us, the life circumstances are not so heavy that we are in a place of desperation. But there is a desire, and the desire is super active, and most of we have the people turning in troves to reverting in troves back to Islam, because the desire to feel anchored and to feel at rest with this chaos in our hearts is so extreme right now. अभी वो moment नहीं आया of that chaos manifesting in our personal lives. It's manifesting in the collective right now. So we need to anchor ourselves, and it is my friend that I need right now, uniquely my friend. Because Allah knows it's very difficult. Allah knows, although I'm talking about Allah, but my Rabb Allah. But Allah also knows it's very. So if we look at evaluate each one of us as our own selves, our own lives, very difficult people we call ourselves, very difficult people to live with. We have very specific peculiarities. We want specific things in a specific way. It's we are very aware of our shadows, but that doesn't make it easy for another person to live with us. It's like mostly we're dealing with our own selves. And sometimes we find space to deal with other people who are living in the same house, who happen to be our spouses, our parents, our children, and other people as well, or our friends or our colleagues. So it's a very inward looking space right now. Us moment mein, when it's not easy to live with me. I'm asking my best friend to never even put the phone down, never even leave my hand, never even to leave my breath, even for a single second. It's that friend that I need. And that friend needs to be there, not just when I'm standing in Jamaat. That friend needs to be there right now. As I say, मुझे प्यास लगी है और मेरी बोतल में पानी खत्म हो गया है. Hey, Allah Ta'ala, could you please allow for me to have a glass of water? Like, it's just very basic and big at the same time, because that's the relationship I'm being asked to cultivate with him. And then he responds. Although in the same moment that I have connected, he has also responded. Of course, he has. But now he responds from a place of action. He begins to shift things in my life. Subhanallah, especially when I remember Tabarak al-Lazi, biyadihul mulku ala kulli shay'in qadir. Like Tabarak, he is the Mubarak one, the one full of blessing, who's now going to guide my footsteps and guide my hands and guide my eyes and guide my tongue. Like, it is that friend that I'm invoking in this moment. And when I invoke that friend, the way that he responds to me is by cordoning off the space around me, which is not Mubarak, by keeping out the events and the people from me which are not Mubarak, because this is a very protective friend. This is my Wali. This is my Wali friend. He's going to have to now do things for me on my behalf that I may not like. I feel in many ways that session perhaps is preparing us for that. Yes. That when we establish our relationship, our connection with our friend who is Allah, He will do things that we may not like for us. 1 second, please. So He will do things that I may not like. And I'm being prepared for that. And we're all being prepared for that. It feels like if we have created like a 5 canal life for ourselves, He's going to make it 10 marla. And in a very physical way, what it feels like is there are a lot of things which we are going to be asked to release, a lot of people we're going to be asked to release, a lot of dreams that we thought that we really wanted, we're going to be asked to release. Because now there is a bigger power at play. Tabarakalladzi biyadihul mulku wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Ala kulli shay'in qadir. Now there is a bigger power at play. So what we're being reminded of is the magnificence of the being who is our friend. The one who is most capable of everything and in whose hands rests all authority. And remember, Qadar. Qadar is not just one day I have decided I'll do this for you kind of way of working. Qadar is a carefully planned out, everything measured and put in exactly its right place, in exactly the right sequence, in exactly the right relationship with each other, with the most perfect, beautiful grid that's perfectly balanced in the overall balance of the universe for us. And so it is that Tabarakalladhi biyadihil mulku wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. It is that friend which is now going to be stepping in. And in more days and more ways than one, we would need that friend more so than ever before. I feel that very strongly because, and I don't know if you guys have been feeling it, but there is a, even with people that we love deeply, we'll begin with our children. You may find yourself keeping a, there's a little distance that I don't know how to describe it. There's a little distance, the little distance that you may find yourself feeling between yourself and the ones that you love very, very deeply. And I feel that distance is coming into our awareness because what we call a distance is actually Allah's space that He's now claiming for Himself, where we're being asked to first establish our connection with Him and through Him then to the rest of the world. Because we've been very hurried and quick in establishing relationships very quickly with our families and with our friends and with the world. But somehow we've kind of overlooked the primal relationship that we need to tune into. And through that relationship, through that Mubarak relationship, everything else becomes Mubarak anyway. So as we're asked to tune into that Mubarak distance that we may be finding between ourselves and the people that we love, then as we tune into that Mubarak distance, then a lot of things which are not Mubarak for us, a lot of people which are not Mubarak for us, the ahata that we've set for ourselves, which has not been Mubarak for us, will have to release itself because we have connected to Tabarakalladhi biyadihil mulku. We have connected to that Mubarak force. And it's going to be scary. But we have connected to a Mubarak source, Barkat. And again, we've spoken of barakah, one that keeps things in its place and then increases it in beautifully and infinitely and in abundance, increases it. So not just, oh, a child is going near the fire and have to keep the hand away, which is one aspect of barakat, but now I have to give him waterfalls, give her lakes upon seas, upon oceans. Not only am I now going to be, not only have I kept her hand away from the fire, now I have to reward her, reward him with oceans upon water bodies of abundance. Mubarak is that frequency that we've connected with. So there's a moment of sabr that we're going to have to exercise. We're all asked to exercise as we connect with Allah Ta'ala, as we reclaim our ownership of our Rabb and reclaim our ownership of on our friend. Because when that friend steps in for us, then things will change. And the human part of us tells us that the things changing is frightening, is fear, is unknown. But the soul part of it knows that a Mubarak friend, the Mubarak, not a Mubarak, the only Mubarak friend, who is ala kulli shay'in qadir, has stepped in on our behalf. And now when things shift, all I have to do is hold on right now. All I have to do is hold on right now for a little while until, because right now my hand is being kept away from the fire. Only this moment, just hold on with sabr. And then comes the reward, Mubarak, the increase in barakat. Just hold on for this one moment and then receive the oceans and receive the waterfalls that we desire. But for that, we've got to trust our friend. For that, we have to be pleased with him. Who is that soul that he says, oh, thank you for being pleased with me? Why? Because that soul, when experiencing change or mega change and hyper change in their life, held on even tighter to their friend's hands, held on even tighter, and says, okay, I understand that I do not understand. I know that I don't know. So I'm going to hold on to you who does know. I'm going to hold on to you, my Mubarak friend. I'm going to hold on to your hand. Just take me through this moment and then show me why. And then take me to the other side and reward me with whatever I need to be rewarded with that I cannot fathom. So in many ways, do not dream right now. That's what we're being asked to do. Let that dream that you have already dreamt come to you. The dream that you have already dreamt is not a human dream, it's your soul dream. You already, your soul, remember, your soul knows what it came here to do. Your soul knows what it came here to create. Your soul came here with a dream. And we've painted up so many human dreams on our soul dream that now all we ask to do is hold on as Allah Ta'ala washes away the paint of those human dreams, such that the soul dream can reveal itself to us. And subhanAllah, as Allah is our witness, and as Allah is our friend, the soul dream is one Raziul Marziyya and Nafsul Mutmain. That soul dream is one that will satisfy you. It will satisfy me in a way that I've never understood the frequency of satisfaction. It will satisfy me. It is not a desire that my mind can comprehend, subhanAllah. I may say, I want this, I want that, I want them. But when that soul dream manifests itself as I release these dreams, as I release these desires back to Allah's light, because I'm holding on to His hand, that soul dream will satisfy me. And it will uniquely satisfy me. It is uniquely satisfy you because it is uniquely you who has created it for you and who is ilham, who has given you that ilham of that dream, who has inspired you to your soul to have that dream. Tabarakalladzi biyadihul mulku has inspired you, your soul, to have that dream. So trust him, trust your friend before you trust your mother, before you trust your father, before you trust your husband or your children or your friends or anybody else or your spiritual guides or your teachers, before you trust anybody's words. Trust him, Ya Mujeeb, the one who has already responded to you. Ask him for hidayat before you ask your teacher even. The one, Ya Mujeeb, the one who's already asked, responded to you. When you feel wobbly and your birds feel like they've all flown away, ask him to stay. Ask your friend. He has all the resources that your soul needs that we have no concept of. He already has them. And those resources are not meant to stretch us in a way that hurts us in the body. This is not a gym trainer who's going to help us regain our core strength through pain. It's not that kind of pain. There is a sweetness to this expansion. There is a ishq in this expansion because it's not a trainer who just wants you to get better. No, it's a trainer who wants you to love him as he's training you. And God knows we don't love our trainers in any way, whichever kind of trainers they are. But it's extremely important for him that you love him. It matters. It matters to him. It doesn't have to matter, but it matters to him. Who is he? Who is he? ये हमें नहीं समझ में आएगी until we're having that conversation with him. But the fact that my love for him matters to him should be enough. Should be enough. And I'm going to try because अगर उनको मेरा प्यार Allah knows what happened here. But उनको अगर मेरा प्यार चाहिए, that is enough for me. And that means that I'm going to try to, and I'm going to have to try to, even if I feel very distant from him, even if I feel like he's a stranger to me, forget my friend, even if it feels like there's a huge distance. But agar unko mera pyar chahiye, and there's, this one being who is absolutely in love with us, and he'd love for us to love him. And we don't know how. But this one being who's absolutely in love with us and would love for us to love him is the creator and the all-powerful and the all-encompassing and the all-potent, like the omnipotent force of the entire universe wants my love, you know what? I'm going to try. The least I can do is try to find out how I can begin to love him. Because it's not a game of fear anymore. He's not even showing me his arg, which has been burning before I was created. Subhanallah and astaghfirullah. He's not even showing me his arg. He's even not even showing me his beautiful Jannah. He's not promising me anything in this moment. He's not making me afraid of anything. He's just saying, are you happy with me? Oh, Subhanallah. That's all he's saying. And he has the power to inflict anything upon me in this moment to get me to be his anyway. But he says, इसमें दीन में कोई कंपल्शन तो नहीं है और ये प्यार आप करवा तो नहीं सकते हो और प्यार में कोई जबरदस्ती भी नहीं है और गेम ही सारी प्यार की है वो चाहते ही प्यार है मतलब आप जब सजदे वो चाह उनको उनको जो चाहिए हमसे क्योंकि वो हमें ऐसे दे वो इसलिए नहीं चाहिए कि ये उनका राइट है वो इसलिए चाहिए क्योंकि he knows that is the only way when our foreheads fall down in love in front of him is the only way of nafsul mutmain उसके अलावा हमारी रूह को सुकून नहीं मिल सकता प्यार के उनसे प्यार के अलावा हमारी रूह के सुकून नहीं मिल सकता there is no ghaza that can feed my soul except my love for him. There is no ghaza that can feed my soul, and he knows it. So he says, find ways to love me, find ways to fall in love with me, because you will be at peace, my love. So he did not, when I enter into Inshallah Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Inshallah Rabbil Alameen, when I'm standing there face to face, he's not going to give me an entire litany of things that I successfully protected myself from to reach his Jannah. He will not say, Shabash, you did not do this, and you did not do that, and you did not do this, and you did do that. But then there is no history in that moment. It's a moment of love. It's just a recognition and an honor of love. Subhanallah, it is that union, that moment of that union. There's no history. And in that way, if we can tune into our desire to Allah Ta'ala, I want to try to love you. Show me how, guide me how. Then you know what? I don't know if it's a hadith or कि Allah Ta'ala हमारा हिसाब ना ले. Because अगर एक दफा आपने हिसाब लेना शुरू कर दिया, so that's not going to turn out great for us. हमारा हिसाब ही ना ले. Just overlook it. Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur. Allahumma inni ghafurun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Just overlook it and just let us in. This moment of overlooking, of him overlooking, is when we were looking for him, you know. Hey, Allah Ta'ala, I was looking for you. I'm not saying I found you. I'm not saying I stayed with you. I'm not saying that I sat in submission to you. I'm not saying that I even went by all the guidelines that you'd put for me. I'm not saying any of that. But yeah, Allah, as you are my witness and the witness upon my heart, I was looking for you. And I never stopped looking for you. And I tried to find you closer and deeper in some moments more than others. But in all moments, I was looking for you. And for my search of you, for my yearning of you, yeah, Allah, forgive me. Because what you have said in your ayah is, well pleased with me. Subhanallah, I can't get over this. Well pleased with me. And well pleasing to me. The same way, look at Subhanallah, look at your kalama. There is, I don't know to what extent I can say this, but he puts himself before his beloved because there's a door with which we need to go through in honor of his beloved. Not because he is higher than, but because it is his sense of protection for his beloved. Go through me to reach him. La ilaha illallah. Go through me. Go through my darwaza to reach my beloved's darwaza. Pehle Makkah aur phir Medina jao. Mere through jao. Taki there is some cleansing, there's some shedding, there's some releasing I may be able to do for you before you reach my beloved who is sacred and who is honored for me. And now you take it to Jannah and you पहले उन्होंने हमसे क्या कहा है? Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well pleased with me and well pleasing to me. Again, he's put himself for like, let me. I'm glad that I proved myself to you. And it's nice that I like you too. But I'm glad that you were happy with me. It is that moment that we're reaching for, where he's not saying, ऐसा करो तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, जहन्नम की आग है, जन्नत खूबसूरत है. The fact that he cares, the fact that it matters to him, the fact that it matters, the fact that my love for him matters to him, the fact that I'm not doing it out of compulsion or the sense of desperation or need matters to him. He wants me to shift towards love more and more. Do it because without it, something is missing. Do it because you'd like it. Do it because it's like sitting with your friend. Do it because it's beautiful. Do it because your heart feels full. Do it because it reminds you of sunflowers. Do it because it feels meetha like pani. Do it because it's spring. Do it in that way. Do it from that moment. Even if you're doing zikr or namaz, do it from that moment. Do it, and that's what उन्होंने कहते हैं वो जो लोग भाग के जाते हैं नमाज पढ़ने के लिए. There's a sense of eagerness to be there. हाँ, हुआ नमाज का टाइम खड़े हो जाओ या कुछ if nothing else, like आपके दिल में एक थरथली सी होनी चाहिए कि नमाज का वक्त हो गया है. That, do it because it matters to me that you like me. And that's a beautiful frequency to tune into of our Rabb. He wants to be chosen by us as much as he has chosen us for himself. Ameen Allahumma Ameen.